Hello, fifth graders. I'm back. We learned how to add two fractions with unlike denominators using the ECD method. Does anybody remember what ECD stands for? No what? Okay, it stands for easy common denominator. So remember, we're trying to find equal fractions so that we can have the bottom number, our denominator, be the same. So we're trying to do that's the only way you can add fractions or subtract for that matter with a common denominator. So what we want to do last time, we just took 2 times 4 and we got 8. And that will always work. You can always do that. But as the problems get a little tougher, and as you head into 6th and 7th grade, these are going to be bigger numbers, and it'll be more difficult to always just multiply those together because we're going to have to simplify, and there's going to be a lot more. So I'm going to teach you a different method today. Last time we just used 8, and that was fine. But today we're going to learn the least common denominator. So it's LCD. Everybody knows how I love acronyms in my math class, but that's what this stands for. So LCD stands for least common denominator. And how we find that is we use multiples. So we are trying to find multiples of 2 and multiples of 4. And we want to find one that they have in common. We want to find the smallest one. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 4 is 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8. I usually go up to 5. 2 times 5 is 10. So those are my multiples there. 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. Do you see any that they have in common there? Do you see any numbers that are the same? Well, I see right away 4. Way back, we found our common denominator 4. I also see 8, and we used that one before. I bet if I kept going, I would have more. But we want to use the lowest common denominator. We want to go as low we can go, as low as we can go. So we are going to use, and I know you're all laughing at me now. So we are going to use the 4. So 4 and 4. Now since we already have a 4, we can just slide this over. This can just go right over to here. We don't have to do anything with this. But up here, we have to do the same thing that we did last time. So 2 times what is 4? Yes, it's 2. So then I have to multiply the numerator by the same number. Okay? I'll extend that over. And now I can just add as I did before. 4 is my denominator, and I take 2 plus 3 is 5. So I have an improper fraction, 5/4. Now, as I don't think we've learned yet how to change improper fractions into mixed numbers and mixed numbers into improper fractions, but we will learn that. So right now, this is an okay answer. All right, so let's have everybody get their dry erase boards out or a piece of paper or something, and we're going to try this one. So everybody put on their thinking caps, think about your multiples, and let's write all our multiples of 3 and all our multiples of 6 down on the bottom here. Okay? Everybody get their stuff out. Now remember, we do 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times 5, 6 times 1, you can be starting, 6 times 2, 6 times 3, gotta extend here, 6 times 4, and 6 times 5. All right? Hopefully you've got some of these multiples down. So 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. See why it's so important to know your facts? Because we're going to be having to understand our facts for a lot of problems now. 3 times 3 is 9, and if you can do them quickly, it really, really, really helps. So there's my multiples of the top number. Now, 6 times 1, 6 times 6 times 3, 6 times 4, and 6 times 5. All right, do you see any numbers that are common? I do, but what's the smallest common number? 6. 6 is the smallest common number, and it just happens to be the one that we have here. Okay, so now I'm going to erase this. I'm going to use 6 as my common denominator. Remember, because this is 6, we can just slide that baby over. There we go. 3 times 2 is 6, and then I have to do the numerator. So 1/3 is the same as 2/6, but they're different numbers. So 2 plus 1 is 3, and I use my 6. And we all know that 3/6 equals a half. So we can, when we simplify, we will be simplifying it to 1/2. But that's going to be coming later. All right, so I want everybody to try this one right now on their own. Do it on your dry erase board while I'm erasing the problems. Now, sometimes you're going to see problems like this, and they're going to be written like this, and that is okay. But it's very hard to change your make your common denominators when it's not up and down. And the middle school talked to Mrs. Woodruff and I last year and told us, make sure instead of this, they are writing it vertically, up and down. So that is why we're teaching you this, so you'll be all set for middle school. I hope that many of you looked at this 2 and looked at this 8 and thought, I know 2 is a multiple of 8. So I bet we could use 8. Now remember, you can always do 2 times 8 is 16. But the lowest number we can find is the easiest. So I know 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. I really don't have to do these, because 8 times 1 is 8. I've already found it. I've already found it. I could keep going, but I've already found it. So I know that I can use 8. When you can use 8, it makes it easy. You can just pass that right over to here. Then I know 2 times 4 is 8. So 1 times 4 is 4. 4 and 3 is 7. Put it over our 8. Voila! All right, we're going to try one more, but it's going to be a little more difficult because it's not going to be as easy to see. So I'm going to try 1/6 plus 3/8. All right, everybody write that down on your board, your dry erase board. I think you can write that pretty quickly. Write that on your dry erase board. You know how I like to use different color markers, so. Go ahead and do this because they do not have the same denominator, so we know that we have to. Now, we could say 6 times 8 is 48. Absolutely. That's the easiest way, the easy common denominator, but we want the least common denominator. So that means we have to look at our multiples. So I'm going to do it on this side this time. So 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. And 6 times 5 is 30. Okay, let's do the 8s. 8 times 1 is 8. Have I found it yet? Nope. 8 times 2 is 16. Wow, there's no 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4. Oh, I found it? I didn't have to keep going to 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is... I found it right here, 24. So, it'll be much easier to simplify if I don't use the easy 48. So, let's see if we can do this. Everybody try it. In my head, I'm saying 6 times 4 is 24. So 1 times 4 is 4. I know that 4 24ths is the same as 1 6th. It's just different numbers. I know those are equivalent fractions. In my head, I'm saying 8 times 3 is 24. So 3 times 3 is 9. I'm going to extend over here. So I know my denominator is 24. 9 plus 4, 4 plus 9, 13. And that's my final answer. So again, if you circle your final answer, it's easy for us to find, easy for you to see, easy for you to check your work. So hopefully you learned how to find the lowest common denominator today. Bye-bye. See you next time.